let's review the Sonic movie again.
Alright, so it's been 2 years since the Sonic movie was released. I remember watching opening weekend and loving it. I've watched it multiple times afterwards. I just love this movie. You could probably have known that with all the Sonic content I released after the movie was released. But that also includes... I don't know. Yeah, so I'm just going to forget those happened. These reviews should be forgotten. Forget you ever saw those. But now that I have better editing power and scriptwriting abilities, let's review the Sonic movie again, I guess. So re-review. Yeah, let's just call it that. Also, as a warning for those who have still not watched the movie, there will be spoilers in this video. I will try to keep major spoilers near the end of the video, but there may be minor spoilers in the main review also. You have been warned. Let's be a little cliche here. Sonic has had a rough transition from 2D to 3D games. I just have to put that out there. But no one ever really asked how Sonic's transition from video games to feature film went. So why not talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie where he got his first step into the cinema? We don't count the Sonic OVA from 1996. So Sonic the Hedgehog starts off with Sonic being chased by Dr. Robotnik through San Francisco. It then freezes to Sonic telling us how he got into this situation, which then flashes back to where it all started for Sonic. We then see Baby Sonic running through Green Hill Zone that we all know and love. Maybe for how many times Sega's put in Green Hills in Sonic games. It's kind of charming seeing a zone that we've all played through in a sort of open area, similar to the bonus level of Green Hills in Sonic Adventure 2. We soon meet Longclaw, who takes care of Sonic. She tells him that he shouldn't be using his power or else he will be spotted. And look at that. Longclaw and Sonic make their escape, but they're shot down by the Echidnas. Longclaw gives Sonic a bag of rings and tells him to go to the Earth. He goes, leaving Longclaw behind and is now all by himself. Fast forward 10 years to where we meet Tom Wazowski, the sheriff of Green Hills, Montana, and the second protagonist of the movie. He is on watch when Sonic, who has now aged, tries to be his own record on Tom's speedometer. After inspection, Tom finds one of Sonic's clothes in the grass and then is called back into town. Shortly after, we find Sonic and his cape living his best life. Just he's alone and it kinda gets to him. We then see Tom living his life, May Wazowski, and they get a letter saying that Tom has been accepted for the San Francisco Police Department, and they start planning to move there. It then cuts to Sonic watching a baseball game that I assume is for the Green Hills Elementary School League. And this is where Sonic's loneliness starts to show more. After the game is over and everyone is gone, Sonic tries to play the game similarly to how the kids work, but since he's alone, everyone in the game is just Sonic running back and forth to take the role. Sonic throws the ball, Sonic hits the ball, Sonic misses the catch, Sonic makes it home. When he does it, he starts celebrating to realize that no one else is there cheering for him. I know it's weird that I'm pointing out how lonely Sonic is at the beginning of the movie, but I think it's just the way it executed was well done and it helps build Sonic's character throughout the movie. Sonic then starts running as fast as he can to try to get rid of his stress of being alone, causing him to send off an energy surge that causes a power go out on Green Hills. The sent over to government officials to find the cause of the power outage, but their only option is to call the most intelligent person on the planet, Dr. Robotnik. The Sen causes Dr. Robotnik to show up at the investigation site at the baseball field where Sonic caused a power outage. He then takes charge of the troops and sends them to investigate any signs of life. When Sonic sees this, he tries to escape to another planet but is interrupted by the troops and Robotnik's drones. So he runs to Tom's house to try to open a portal with the rings until Sonic is interrupted by Tom and is shot by the tranquilizer gun. While dizzy, Sonic reads San Francisco off Tom's t-shirt, causing the portal to open right above the Trans-America Pyramid in San Francisco. Sonic falls down, dropping his rings into the portal, landing onto the pyramid. The portal closes and Sonic is now stuck in Earth even longer. Upon waking up in a dog cage, which is the last thing I was thinking when I see Sonic as a dog, Tom starts questioning Sonic till Dr. Robotnik shows up to Tom's house. Tom hides Sonic while Robotnik tries to investigate the house. When Robotnik meets Tom, he sends drones into the house while Tom is distracted to look for Sonic. Sonic starts talking to himself while he's panicking, which also adds to the fact that he's used to being lonely and always talking to himself. As he's about to be discovered, he escapes, which causes a noise that makes Dr. Robotnik barge into the house looking for him. After Tom tries to prove to Dr. Robotnik that no one's there, he finds Sonic's quill that Tom found earlier and threatens to put a bullet into his head. Rated PG. Sonic then jumps out to save Tom, which scares Robotnik, and Tom punches him and knocks Robotnik out. Tom and Sonic escape in Tom's truck as Dr. Robotnik's agent, Agent Stone, comes to help Robotnik. Now on their way to San Francisco, Tom realizes he's going to help Sonic since Sonic being stuck on Earth longer is now his fault. So he agrees to take Sonic to San Francisco to make up for it as much as he doesn't want to. Now the two go on a road trip towards San Francisco, and for the most part of the time that Sonic and Tom are in the car on their way to San Francisco is probably the least interesting part of the movie. There are some events during the driving part though that does make it interesting, sort of. First, the world's largest rubber band ball, where Sonic runs fast back and forth through the rubber band ball, which shows that Sonic can get to San Francisco without the help of Tom, even though Sonic says he has no idea where he's going at one point beforehand. This kind of interests me because of what I said earlier about Sonic being lonely, where he now has someone to talk to. The character building they have for Sonic is what interests me the most about the events of this movie, as it gives Sonic a personality similar to the game counterpart, yet also different. Anyways, there's also a bar scene, which is a fun distraction from the car segment. In this scene, Sonic decides to make a bucket list of things to do before he leaves Earth. This is also where Sonic and Tom's friendship starts to grow more, while they try working on Sonic's bucket list. But while they're having fun, they accidentally start a bar fight. So Sonic, with his super speed, decides to have some fun and messes with all the people in the bar so that they all fall flat. It's also just a fun scene of just seeing Sonic do a bunch of crazy things to all these people while they're frozen in time. But anyways, it ends off with Tom and Sonic leaving the bar with everyone at the bar chasing after him. In the next event, Sonic and Tom stop at a motel to get some rest and heal up after the fight. Sonic also works on finishing his bucket list, and Tom finds out that he's considered a criminal according to the news. Tom also looks at Sonic's bucket list after he falls asleep to find that one thing is left, which is to make a real friend. In the next scene, Sonic and Tom are back in the truck, almost to San Francisco. Sonic starts asking Tom what his bucket list is like and who his best friend is. Tom then says he wants to be a cop at a bigger city rather than Green Hills. This makes Sonic mad at Tom for wanting to leave an amazing place like Green Hills. While they are arguing, Robotnik starts to attack on him with one of his mobile robots to try to stop him. This then starts a fight with Sonic and Tom against Robotnik, where they start taking down the mobile robot. Every time Sonic attacks the bot, it has a small robot and it continues to chase him. Tom also takes out one of the bots to help Sonic out, but Sonic does most of the work. When they get to the smallest bot, it breaks off the roof of Tom's truck, so Sonic tries to destroy it. But this causes the bot to stick to Sonic and start to beep before blowing up. Sonic and Tom pull over to try to get it off, but struggle at doing so. When they finally get it off, it blows up, causing Sonic to get knocked out. Tom then picks up Sonic and takes him to Maddie's sister's house in San Francisco. Here, Sonic is revived by Maddie from something he saw and is also given shoes from Tom's niece, JoJo, which, of course, is somewhere designed to the games. In the middle of the scene, also, we see Robotnik using Sonic's clue from earlier to power up his lab, and see him dance with some quite honestly amazing dance moves. But after Maddie's all caught up with what's going on, she, along with Sonic and Tom, head to the Trans-America Pyramid. The three then get up to the roof and Sonic grabs his rings, ready to go home. Sonic and Tom say their goodbyes and Sonic throws a ring to go home. Oh, never mind, Robotnik's there to stop him. In an effort to save Tom and Maddie from Robotnik, Sonic then pushes him off the Trans-America Pyramid.
I was not expecting that. But I was expecting not to expect something, so it doesn't count.
Sonic then goes super fast, similar to the bar fight, and destroys all of Robotnik's drones. But while he's doing this, Robotnik uses a quill to charge up his carrier thing, and flies off at super speed also. Once Sonic's done taking out all of the drones, Robotnik attacks him, causing him to fall off the pyramid and go unconscious for a second. Upon waking up, he sees Tom and Maddie falling off, so he grabs their ring and sends them back to Green Hills to safely land. Sonic then lands from the pyramid onto the ground, with rings scattered everywhere, which is a funny reference. Sonic then picks up his rings as Robotnik chases him through San Francisco. And now we're all caught from the beginning of the movie. The rest of them I would consider bigger spoilers, so I'll talk about them in a minute with a timestamp if you want to skip these spoilers. But before that, I want to talk about the characters and actors for a quick second. First off, Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog is the main protagonist of the movie. I would hope so at least. I mean, the movie is named after him. It isn't called Tom Wazowski, even though it could be, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Sonic is voiced by Ben Schwartz, who also voiced Dewey Duck in the DuckTales 2017 reboot. I think he did a good job with Sonic's role, where he gives Sonic a similar vibe to his own game counterpart, yet giving him his own personality compared to it. Sonic's one of the most interesting parts of the movie, where you see him adapt and change throughout the movie. Like I said earlier, Sonic being lonely early in the movie is one thing that stands out. And throughout the movie, we see him get more used to being around people like Tom, and starts to stop talking to himself and panicking a lot. Character development isn't something I normally would expect from Sonic, or I guess any video game movie in general, but I think they did handle it well in this movie. But when Sonic's being himself, oh, it's so fun to see him do something cool or entertaining. Then we have Tom Wazowski, the second protagonist of the movie. Tom's role is played by James Marsden, who also played Fred O'Hare in Hop. Yeah, I see a pair of James Marsden accidentally taking animated creatures hostage and taking them on car trips. Tom's the sheriff of Green Hills and wants more from his job, so he gets a job for the San Francisco Police Department to try to make a bigger difference. He tries to make too much a difference and becomes a bit of a spotlight in the movie more than I would have expected for a movie based around Sonic. It's not that he takes the spotlight from Sonic a whole lot, but he has a story in the movie that does feel like a lot of our movies that have a human character story overshadow the main animated character of the movie. He's still a likable character though and makes the movie interesting, but kind of takes some spotlight from Sonic in my opinion. Now for the main antagonist, Dr. Robotnik. Dr. Robotnik is played by the legendary Jim Carrey, who you might know from well-known movies like Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and live-action Grinch movie, though I feel like some of us want to forget about that movie. And Jim Carrey plays Robotnik almost perfectly. He has a funny, more wacky side Robotnik that has seen similar to more recent games like the Boom series, Colors, Lost World, and other games. A lot of funny scenes of the movie are because of Jim Carrey acting Robotnik out almost perfectly. I feel like there could have been a bit more of a serious, more evil side to him like in the adventure games, but he does have some serious moments near the end of the film. The other side characters in the film are pretty good. Characters like Agent Stone, Maddie, and Crazy Carl are all just played well by their actors. Congrats to all the actors who played in the movie for making the movie a lot more entertaining. Alright, so now we're done with the slightly spoiler-free overview and the characters. Let's talk about the ending of the movie. So if you don't want to hear any ending spoilers, I recommend going to the timestamp on screen, otherwise stick around. Alright, are you ready? Okay, here we go. So after we get back to where Sonic first started his flashback, we see him continue to be chased by Dr. Robotnik. Sonic then gets his rings out and starts opening portals to different areas of the world to try to lose Robotnik. These places include Paris, the Great Wall of China, Egypt, and finally back to Green Hills. The parts of him running through these areas are pretty interesting and fun to watch. But as Sonic's about to go through the portal from Egypt to Green Hills, he is hit by the blast and knocked out when he lands in Green Hills. Man, this is like the 4th time he's been knocked out in this movie. He must have grabbed some extra lives. But now vulnerable to Robotnik's weaponry, Sonic lies there, nearly dying. And as Robotnik's making his last speech to Sonic, Tom grabs one of his rings and uses it to get on back of Robotnik's carrier. Then the two of them get into a brawl, which result in Tom losing and falling off the carrier. Now about to end both of them, Robotnik is stopped by the Green Hills residents, who try to protect Sonic instead of harming him. Tom then gets up and tells Robotnik that Sonic was more human than Robotnik ever was. He also mentions that Sonic was his friend, which awakens Sonic from his knockout. And this time he's all charged up, ready to take on Robotnik. Sonic and Robotnik then attack each other, with Sonic missing all of his missiles. Sonic then starts charging at Robotnik's windshield on his carrier and hitting it repeatedly, which is a nice reference to the games, more so the 2D ones. But after Sonic is done attacking, he tells Robotnik that he's the one leaving Earth, not Sonic. He then tells Tom to open a portal to the mushroom planet that Sonic was originally escaped to. Sonic does one final hit on the mobile, sending Robotnik through the portal and closing it on him, trapping him forever. Or at least until the sequel, but we will talk about that in a bit. But now with Robotnik gone, Sonic and Tom celebrate, and also finishing Sonic's bucket list. Fast forward a bit, we see Tom and Maddie fixing their home from what happened earlier in the movie. The government then shows up to their house to thank them for their heroic actions and keeping quiet about recent events that happened with Robotnik. They also give him a gift card to Olive Garden. That's very thoughtful. They also do ask if they've seen Sonic recently, but Tom and Maddie say they have not seen him since the final fight. The government leaves and Sonic comes out of hiding. Are you really surprised? Tom and Maddie tell Sonic that it's time to go home, making Sonic sad and he has to go back to his cave. But Tom and Maddie surprise him by giving him a room in the attic, which contains all the stuff from Sonic's cave. Sonic celebrates, and now the three are a big happy family. Ending Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh wait, there's a pre-credits scene. We see Robotnik in the mushroom world, now with his head shaved, his mustache crazy, and is now fattened up, similar to the game design. And here's where I start to consider Robotnik as Eggman, despite being called Eggman earlier in the movie by Sonic. He also has a rock assistant named Agent Stone. Amazing. Eggman also has Sonic's quills and states that he'll be home by Christmas. I'm guessing he meant Christmas 2022 because the sequel comes out in April, 2 Christmases after the first movie. And the credits roll. Also, the credits music is pretty good. Speed Me Up is a pretty good song. So much so that to the point where I start talking about it more than I probably should have in the original reviews. But then again, we don't talk about those. Oh, we can't forget about the mid-credits scene. We see a cliff near Green Hills, where we saw Sonic once earlier in the film. A ring portal then opens to see Miles Tails per hour jump out. He says that he finally found him, assumably Sonic, and says that he hopes that it's not too late. He flies off at super speed towards Green Hills, and the credits continue, finally ending the movie. Well, now that I summarized the movie and everything, why not give my final opinion on the movie? So yeah, I really like this movie. While it isn't perfect by any means, I feel like it's the right step for a movie adaptation of video games. I feel like most people would agree that most of the movie adaptations of video games are usually never good. But ever since Detective Pikachu in 2019, then the Sonic the Hedgehog in 2020, live-action video game movies have been increasing in quality. and that shows what we've seen at Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog isn't the best movie ever. It does feel lacking extra content in the movie and a chunk of the film, more specifically the car ride in the middle of the movie. The sequel does seem to improve on this, but that is yet to be determined. But if you're a fan of Sonic, or video games in general, you'll definitely like this film. It's full of character, funny, and just shows what could happen with a series or a film if it's put in the right hands. Okay, I'll be fair, we haven't seen anything on it yet, but I do feel worried that Windmill handling movie is, I'm just gonna hope for the best. But back to Sonic, Paramount did a good job with their first attempt at the Sonic franchise, and the sequel looks great, and I think that Paramount will make it better than the first. I just hope I don't have to eat those words when it comes out. But yeah, I'll rate the movie an 8.5 out of 10. Very entertaining, but it does feel lacking at times. Fans of Sonic will enjoy this movie, and I'm glad that there are going to be more movies which keep us fans happy. Which, by the way, Paramount announced a Sonic Movie 3 with the Knuckles series on top of that, and that's before the sequel even released. That's some dedication right there if you ask me. Alright, so I guess that wraps up this review of Summary of Sonic the Hedgehog. I can finally be happy now that I have a good review of my favorite movie of all time on my channel. So go forget those 2 original reviews ever existed, please. I'm begging you. So yeah, go watch this movie. It's great, and if you already watched it before, watch it again. So I'll see you guys in like a month when the sequel releases to do a more spoiler warning review of the film. I'm giving a warning right now, so don't say I didn't warn you ahead of time. This is like a month prior to my review of the sequel, if I actually do a review, that is. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna head out now. Make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and watch the Sonic movie. I don't care if you've already seen it, just watch it again. It's awesome.